Level 1. The rookie, the perimeter. You're 26. Stale coffee acid violently burns the back of your throat. You are a rookie assigned to the Violent Crimes Task Force. You're sitting in the freezing passenger seat of an unmarked Plymouth sedan outside a dilapidated motel in Albuquerque. You have exactly 8 minutes. A heavily armed fugitive with 3 outstanding murder warrants is sleeping in room 14. If the tactical breach team does not initiate the assault in 8 minutes, a scheduled local police patrol will inadvertently drive through the perimeter, spook the target, and initiate a bloodbath in a civilian parking lot. The 18-pound Kevlar vest bites painfully into your collarbones. A stray dog knocks over a trash can in the alleyway. A live, unpredictable threat. You freeze. Your hand drops to the grip of your Sig Sauer P226. If the target looks out the window right now, he sees your silhouette. Sitting in the driver's seat is Donovan, a veteran agent who constantly nervously chews on a yellow wooden number 2 pencil behind his right ear. The wood is splintered and ruined. He never writes with it. He just grinds it between his molars. Donovan doesn't reach for his gun. He reaches into his tactical vest, pulls out a faded Polaroid photograph of a child's empty, blood-stained shoe, and slides it onto the dashboard. "Don't look at the door." "Look at what he left behind," Donovan whispers. The 8 minutes expire. The tactical team violently breaches the motel room door. Flashbangs detonate, shattering the motel windows. You survive. You secure the perimeter. The physical fear of catching a hollow-point bullet in the dark is overwhelming, but you believe the gold shield makes you righteous. You don't realize the badge is just a permission slip to slowly lose your own soul. Level 2. The case agent. The paper trail. You're 29. Shattered fluorescent lighting drills a migraine directly into your optic nerve. You are the case agent. You are no longer just holding the perimeter. You are building the architecture of the hunt. You have exactly 48 hours. A prolific serial bank robber has secured a forged Canadian passport. If you do not cross-reference 14,000 pages of encrypted financial transactions and locate his proxy buyer in 48 hours, the target boards an international flight and completely vanishes from federal jurisdiction. You sit in a windowless bullpen in the J. Edgar Hoover building. You haven't slept in 2 days. The air smells of ozone and stale printer toner. The telephone on your desk rings. A blocked number. A live, terrifying psychological threat. You answer it. The caller breathes heavily, then accurately recites your home address and the make of your wife's car before hanging up. The target knows you are hunting him. He is hunting you back. You do not panic. You do not call local police to guard your house. You bury the terror. You find the financial discrepancy hidden in a shell company based in Vancouver. You transmit the coordinates to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. The target is apprehended at the boarding gate. You log off your computer. Nobody applauds. You drive home at 3 a.m., constantly checking your rearview mirror for tailing headlights. You park in your driveway and sit in the dark car for 11 minutes, staring at your own front door, wondering if a bomb is wired to the handle. The physical fear of the street has mutated. You are now consumed by the paralyzing fear that your job will violently spill over into your civilian life. Level 3. The task force operator. The breach. You're 32. Toxic ammonia vapors brutally sear the lining of your lungs. You are a task force operator. You execute the warrants you write. You have exactly 15 seconds. You are standing in the pitch-black hallway of a fortified methamphetamine laboratory in rural Appalachia. The target is a cartel-affiliated enforcer who is explicitly sworn to never be taken alive. You just kick the front door off its hinges. If you do not clear the primary bedroom in 15 seconds, the target will ignite the volatile chemical precursors, vaporizing the entire structure and the 4 agents stacked up behind you. You step over the splintered doorframe. A thin, nearly invisible monofilament fishing line pulls taut against your shin. A live, catastrophic threat. A tripwire wired to a fragmentation grenade. You freeze your forward momentum instantly, defying extreme kinetic inertia. You signal the stack to halt. You shine your tactical light on the wire. Donovan steps over your shoulder, the chewed yellow pencil clamped in his teeth. He physically disarms the firing pin with a pair of rusted needle-nose pliers in the dark. You breach the bedroom. The target raises a sawed-off shotgun. You fire 2 rounds into his center mass. He drops to the chemical-stained carpet. You secure the weapon. You step out into the freezing morning air. You vomit into the tall grass. You saved your team. But you realize that survival is not based on righteousness or justice. Survival is based entirely on noticing a millimeter of fishing line in the dark. The fear of failure is gone. You are now entirely terrified of the microscopic mechanical margins that separate life from a closed casket funeral. Level 4, the manhunter, the obsession. You're 35. The metallic taste of a bleeding gum line constantly reminds you of your exhaustion. You are the manhunter. You command the desk and the field. You have exactly 72 hours. You are hunting a top 10 most wanted fugitive, a man who abducts and murders women along the interstate highway system. His established psychological cooling-off period is ending. If you do not break his geographical pattern in 72 hours, another woman mathematically dies. You stand in front of a massive corkboard covered in crime scene photos, pushing red thumbtacks into a map of the Midwest until your fingers bleed. Your phone buzzes. It is your wife. It is your 5-year anniversary dinner. A live, emotional threat to your marriage. If you leave the office now, you might save your family, but you lose the cognitive momentum of the case. You ignore the call. You let it go to voicemail. You stay in the room. You find the anomaly, a specific diesel fueling station operating exclusively on cash. You dispatch the tactical teams. They capture the killer sleeping in the cab of his truck. You saved a life, but you lost your own. You sleep on the floor of your office, clutching the case file. You have crossed the absolute psychological point of no return. You view the entire civilian world as a hunting ground, and every civilian as either a victim or a suspect. Before we go further, if you've made it this far, comment what career you want to see next. Hit that like button right now and subscribe. We upload every single day. Level 5, the Supervisory Special Agent, the Command. You're 38. The heavy Kevlar weave of the command vest completely cuts off the circulation to your shoulders. You are the Supervisory Special Agent. You no longer kick the doors, you send other men to kick them. You have exactly 3 minutes. You are standing in a mobile command post outside a suburban bank. A fugitive bank robber has taken 12 hostages. The negotiations have completely collapsed. If you do not authorize the Hostage Rescue Team, HRT, to execute a dynamic breach in 3 minutes, the target will begin executing hostages on a live internet stream. A local police commander screams at you to wait for a psychologist. A live bureaucratic threat to the operation. If you wait, people die. If you breach and a hostage dies in the crossfire, the Department of Justice will criminally indict you for reckless endangerment. You pick up the radio handset. You look at Donovan. He is retiring tomorrow. He takes the chewed yellow pencil from behind his ear and places it on the desk next to the faded Polaroid of the empty shoe. "Don't let them take the rest of you," Donovan whispers. You press the transmit button. "Execute," you order. The HRT breaches the glass doors. Flashbangs detonate. The target is killed by sniper fire. All 12 hostages survive. You walk out into the flashing red and blue lights. The media applauds you, but the psychological disconnect is absolute. You did not save those people out of heroism. You saved them by running a cold, sociopathic mathematical equation balancing acceptable casualties against federal liability. The fear of losing your life is gone. You are now utterly terrified of the cold mechanical monster you had to become to make that call. Level 6, the Top 10 Hunter, the global stage. You're 42. Aviation fuel permanently coats the inside of your nasal cavity. You are hunting the global targets. You operate internationally, tracking fugitives who have the resources of small nations. You have exactly 12 hours. 12. You are sitting in the pressurized cabin of an FBI Gulfstream jet descending into Bogota, Colombia. A billionaire cartel boss, indicted on 80 counts of federal racketeering, is preparing to... The putrid, ammonia-soaked stench of a federal holding cell suffocates you. You are commanding a joint terrorism task force. You have exactly 60 seconds. You are sitting across from a mid-level cartel lieutenant, the #1 fugitive on the FBI's most wanted list, a domestic terrorist who has explicitly planned to detonate a truck bomb at a crowded shopping mall tomorrow morning, is completely off the grid. The lieutenant knows the exact location of the bomb factory. If you do not secure his testimony in 60 seconds, hundreds of innocent civilians mathematically die in the blast. The lieutenant smiles, exposing gold-capped teeth. A live, soul-crushing threat. I give you the bomber. You completely erase my murder charges for the 2 kids I shot in Chicago, the lieutenant says. He wants absolute federal immunity. If you agree, a child murderer walks completely free onto the streets. If you refuse, a shopping mall becomes a crater. You stare at the man. You think about the Polaroid of the empty shoe sitting in your desk drawer. You run the horrific arithmetic of human lives. The 60 seconds expire. You walk, you say. Your voice is completely dead. You sign the immunity agreement. You raid the factory and stop the bombing. You are hailed as a national hero on the evening news. You go home, lock yourself in the bathroom, and stare into the mirror. You let a murderer walk free. You sacrifice justice to preserve security. The fear of failing the mission is entirely gone. There is only an absolute, crushing, inescapable guilt. You are the monster you feared in Level 5. Level 8. The SAC, Special Agent in Charge. You're 51. The tight silk of the tailored necktie literally strangles your carotid artery. You are the SAC, the special agent in charge of a major field office. You no longer hunt fugitives. You manage the political optics of the hunt. You have exactly 4 minutes. You are standing behind the curtain of a massive press conference room in Washington, D.C. A high-profile fugitive has just been killed in a shootout with your agents. The operation was a tactical disaster. The agents violated protocol, fired blindly into a residential building, and killed the target through sheer luck. A reporter in the front row is holding a leaked internal memo detailing the massive tactical failures. A live, catastrophic political threat. If you tell the truth, your agents go to federal prison, the task force is defunded, and your career is destroyed. If you lie, you permanently corrupt the integrity of the institution. The director of the FBI looks at you and nods. You step up to the podium. The camera flashes blind you. Our agents executed a flawless surgical operation within the absolute boundaries of federal guidelines. You lie directly into a forest of microphones. You answer questions for 20 minutes without ever telling the truth. You walk off the stage. You save the task force. But you realize that the Bureau is no longer an investigative agency. It is a public relations firm with a tactical wing. You spent 25 years hunting liars and murderers, only to stand in a tailored suit and lie to the entire world to protect the brand. Level 9. The Apex Hunter. The boardroom. You're 56. Sterile, heavily oxygenated air conditioning instantly freezes the sweat on your wrists. You are an executive assistant director. You operate at the absolute apex of the national intelligence apparatus. You have exactly 60 seconds. You are sitting in the SCIF, Sensitive Compartmented Information Facility, deep inside the Hoover Building. You are watching a live, ultra-high-definition drone feed of a compound in Yemen. An American citizen, radicalized and placed on the lethal targeting list, is walking across the courtyard. He is a fugitive from justice, but he has not been convicted in a court of law. If you do not authorize the kinetic strike in 60 seconds, he enters an underground tunnel network and vanishes. A Department of Justice lawyer standing over your shoulder hands you the lethal authorization document. A live, constitutional threat. You are acting as judge, jury, and executioner from a leather chair 8,000 miles away. You look at the screen. You do not see a human being. You see a heat signature. You pick up a heavy tungsten pen. You sign the document. Execute, you whisper into the encrypted microphone. The AGM-114 Hellfire missile impacts. The screen turns into a brilliant, silent bloom of white heat. The target is vaporized. You leave the room. You drive your luxury sedan home in the Virginia traffic. You just authorized the extrajudicial execution of a human being from a boardroom, and then you stop at a red light next to a soccer mom in a minivan. The psychological disconnect is absolute. You have evolved past the law, past morality, and past humanity. You are an invisible, sociopathic mechanism enforcing the geopolitical will of the state. Level 10. The retired? The void. You're 61. The absolute, crushing silence of the immaculate suburban living room deafens your ringing eardrums. You are retired. You have a full federal pension, an impeccable public legacy, and a meticulously manicured front lawn. You are physically safe. You are legally untouchable. The hunts are completely over, but you are suffering from a profound, agonizing, clinical psychological disease. Absolute anhedonia. The human brain is biologically incapable of surviving the continuous, massive spikes of adrenaline and trauma you subjected it to for 35 consecutive years. Standard baseline reality is physically unbearable to you. Food has absolutely no taste. Civilian conversations are agonizingly slow, petty, and devoid of stakes. You sit in a heavy leather chair in the dark, staring at the muted television screen. You open your scarred, trembling palm. Resting on your skin is the faded Polaroid photograph of the child's empty, blood-stained shoe. Beside it is Donovan's heavily chewed yellow wooden pencil. You realize the ultimate, horrifying truth of the professional manhunter. Did Donovan know the job would hollow you out entirely? Is that why he left? The monsters didn't beat you. You caught them all. You emptied the entire list. But the cost of the victory was the total eradication of your own soul. The Bureau systematically broke you down, forged you into an unbreakable spear, threw you into the darkness, and then simply handed you a gold watch when the blade got dull. You sit in the crushing, silent void of your own perfection, waiting for a dawn that feels completely empty. You emptied the list, and the list emptied you.